Untamed is going to be untamed. It's going to be a little crazy. I want to talk to my people. I want to talk to my brothers and sisters. We can have grace and humility in how we interact with other people.
Oh, hot dog, look at you.
And nobody talked about what's really happening.
And let's have conversations about what truth is.
I was a city clerk here for 8 years. So
Get out of here.
Yeah. I worked for congressman, worked for senator.
Nice.
Been doing elections all my life. It's these guys go door to door and they take people's ballots. They bully them and they give them their ballots over. Voter fraud happens in small ethnic communities where someone is more assimilated, they can run the show. It can intimidate and say, like, if you don't vote, vote for me, your cousin has nowhere to live next year when he comes in. I'll shut it down.
Closed societies, basically.
Yep.
But how do they do it? Like,
Easy. They go around the neighborhood with the AB applications, and they have people sign the application. Then the candidates will drop them all off at City Hall. Then they know when they go out, they go back to the person's house and say, sign the envelope, give me the ballot. They will harvest them. And they did.
and so you think that's what happened here?
Oh, it is what happened here. It's absolutely what happened. But it happened with the Ukrainians, it happened with the Polacks, it happened with the Bosnians.
Yeah.
It's ethnic communities. Whoever gets here can run the show on me.
Whoops.
Yeah.
Mike is joining me today.
Wow. That was something.
Happy Monday.
Yeah. Happy Monday. Welcome back.
It's good to be back.
Yeah.
I took a week off. I mean, I was here. I was on the show for one day, did a show. I put a video up on Facebook. I'll put it up on everything else. But Kyle Clark goes and cuts it up, and we talked about violence and whether or not we would actually need violence.
Well, I don't call for it, but I think it's going to go there.
Well, that's what I said. I said it was violent rhetoric talking about it. But Micah, what do we do in Iran? Did we walk in and drop teddy bears?
No. In fact, I wish we'd go into Iran, be done with it, and walk out. I don't want to see a rebuild.
You want them to have to fight to get across the
No.
finish line?
I'm saying if we're going to go in, I want to go in, be done with it, and go home. I don't want to get into another Afghanistan.
Well, we just found out that we're not fully out of Afghanistan now to begin with.
I know.
And they said it would be the withdrawal, but we really haven't withdrawn.
That's my point.
I think what I was saying last week, and it's we talk about election fraud, and the big thing for me is everything predicates on being able to steal elections. And here we are in the 21st century where we should be able to have a conversation about elections, and we can't even have a conversation.
Yeah, because right now we're being screamed down for everything. Part of the reason the reason faith is so important to me is because it's not like some weird guiding star. Like my faith, my devotion therein, it starts with my faith and it ends with my faith. Because if I just get focused on all the bad, I'm going to live there. But that doesn't mean ignore it. It doesn't mean don't stand in the face of evil. It doesn't mean don't call it out. And that's the problem we have right now. I feel like half the time we don't know what to do, and then the other half the time we're just screaming at each other. And that's why I go outside sometimes and I take a bended knee. Sometimes I'll go out. I just go for a drive, and I just get with my Creator and I talk, and I get recentered because I think it's very, very important.
Well, I mean, the problem is that you just said we get shouted down, basically.
We do. We get screamed down.
And they walk in and they say, well, you obviously don't know what you're talking about. You need to go get educated. And in the same breath, we talk about, hey, you have this white supremacy, and then you have groups of people that walk away from and say, well, I'm not white. And I'm talking about people that specifically say, I'm Jewish, I'm not white, even though they're stark white. I didn't know the color, by the way, was now I'm struggling, bro.
Shouldn't matter what color you are.
It shouldn't. I mean,
At all.
you see people talk
It's a
about the
culture
human
problem.
race. It is a culture problem. But we've basically destroyed the culture. We shout down at people. We did it with COVID. We did it with the Antifa movement. We do it with the anti-Semite. But we do it with all these movements.
Yeah.
Right? And this victimology. We just had Juneteenth on Friday. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, so we have Black History Month. Now we got Juneteenth, and we want to talk about the victimology and racism and slavery, when in actuality, the American people right now are slaves.
They're fatigued slaves. They're tired.
And we're tired of the dog whistles.
Yeah.
And we're tired of the victimology. We're tired of the give me, where there's nothing left on the bone.
Yeah. And nobody wants to work for it. Very few.
And everyone has an opinion. Everyone has an opinion about everybody else. I want to play this if I can, because it's not just the election. The elections are the byproduct of the ability to basically steal it with impunity, all 50 states.
Yes.
But you look at what the media has done, and they've created this programming of just fake propaganda. It's everywhere. And this young man talked about hating Charlie Kirk. He said, I hated Charlie Kirk. And there's a lot of it. There's a lot of this, like, hate Republicans because Republicans are racist. But the people that are racist are the people that are actually out there saying, you can't accomplish anything. Oh, by the way, kill your babies. Oh, by the way, cut off the penis of your kid. Oh, by the way, go ahead and play this.
Actually glad that Charlie Kirk was murdered, but probably not for the reason you think. I was at work when I first found out. A fellow employee had wandered up to me, cell phone in hand, and asked, "Did you hear that Charlie Kirk just got assassinated?" And I, without even a moment's hesitation, responded, "Good! Fuck that Nazi white supremacist piece of shit!" I had never before witnessed such a perfectly blended expression of disgust, disappointment, sadness, and surprise, all through the window of another man's eyes, or experienced a silence so uncomfortable as the one that followed. And although that look on his face now haunts me more and more with each passing day, at the time, it only made me distrustful and upset. But little did I know that the sentence which followed would end up becoming the most profoundly psychologically impactful question that I've ever been confronted with. Have you ever actually watched any of his debates? I decided to end the conversation immediately. This man was clearly a lost cause, one of those intellectually dishonest Kool-Aid drinking types who refuses to engage in good faith with any perspective which contradicts their outstandingly narrow and propagandized worldview. And by this man, I mean me. Because I hadn't actually watched any of his debates. I was basing literally every single thing I believe about a human being, with thousands of hours worth of publicly available recordings of himself openly expressing his opinions, on a small handful of out-of-context clips that had been curated for me by algorithms and media organizations being funded by the political opposition. I foamed at the mouth, right along with the rest of those rabid and bloodthirsty dogs, gleefully mocking those who had been saddened by his death and downplaying the atrocity of it all by suggesting that political violence is just an unfortunate yet necessary step toward our coveted socialist revolution. That is, until I began to notice a common thread. The exact same comment being repeated ad nauseum in nearly every single online space. Have you ever actually watched any of his debates? I didn't think much of it at first. Of course right-wingers are all regurgitating the exact same talking point. They're in a cult. They're brainwashed. It was an ordinary and boring morning on the day I found out that I am a monster. In that moment where my curiosity got the best of me and I decided to click on some random YouTube thumbnail of Charlie Kirk with his goofy and gummy smile in an attempt to reaffirm my preconceived biases. And it was an unusually stressful afternoon on that very same day when I spoke to my father for the first time in years, despite the fact that he had always loved and supported me unconditionally. And it was a never-ending sleepless night, coming to terms with the fact that literally every single thing I thought I hated about the right, the bigotry, stupidity, violence, vitriol, and narrow-mindedness, was actually just an outward projection of hatred toward my own self. Charlie Kirk is my hero. He opened my eyes to the cruel and manipulative nature of our political media, brought my family back together, and taught me how to love again. And to anyone who takes issue or offense with that, I'm going to do exactly what he would have done, and challenge you to answer a simple, honest, and straightforward question. Have you ever actually watched any of his debates?
How about that?
Yeah, I'm going to go back to what I said a minute ago. That's exactly what I was talking about, because it's so easy to foam at the mouth. It's so easy to get angry. It's so easy to put a push or a thumb tack in the wall and take a hammer and hit it with it to make it go in every single time. And then you stop back and you realize you're just making holes in the wall. I think that's probably one of the best affirmations of why I feel the way that I feel, of staying middle ground until there's one of two things needs to happen, Joe. Either you stand in the face of evil and you call it out and you fight it, or you stand over here and you showcase why love matters and love is good. And I don't mean John Lennon love. I mean love your brother as you do yourself. Love your wife as you do yourself. Love as the way Jesus loves the church. And people can look at you and go, you can think whatever you want about me. I'm still going to pray for you. I'm going to love you through it, right up until it hits the fan. And your point is, do you think it's going to go violent? I do. I think it's only going to end when people are in a box. But things like this give me hope, because he's saying the very thing that we all are susceptible to do. And it's very easy to look at something politically on the other side and go, I told you. When I think when you take a giant step back, it's really just a handful of people controlling all of it.
And if it wasn't a handful of people controlling all of it, then you wouldn't have this endemic environment that is spreading to other countries of this craziness.
It's a giant, I mean, the term PSYOP has been around for a long time, but a giant PSYOP is happening. And it's geared, depending on where you stand, what you believe in, what you look at. Your phone will gear it. Everything is fed into it. This is why I take a knee, or I step away, or I'll get in my Jeep and I'll go drive up into a trail for a couple hours out of a month. And I'll just sit back in nature and I'll just go, okay, I'm just going to pray this through, because otherwise I just find myself in the middle of the vitriol, and I don't want to. I want that guy to sit in that chair right there and tell you why. I mean, he just did it, but it would be great to have him
it was great because he got to repair his relationship with his father.
He did.
And, I saw you like shaking your head when you were watching it, because this is the thing that we come into contact with so often.
Yeah.
And, the realization, when you get to a realization that you recognize that violence is going to be necessary, I mean, I think that's just you're just foretelling what people have to be prepared for.
Sure.
Based on the circumstances and the conditions that they're actually raising.
Sure.
But I went further and said that I thought that it was going to be controlled. In other words, I don't think it's going to be neighbors shooting against each other. I think it's going to be good versus evil. I think that the constructs, we talked about this morning, of Democrat versus Republican, those are going by the wayside.
Very much so.
And it doesn't really matter to anyone. And you have Colorado, which is a vast majority, or a simple majority of the people inside of the state of Colorado are unaffiliated.
Correct.
Which they could have leanings and they could have beliefs, but they're not willing to stake it in any one political party. Right?
Yeah, I mean, some of it is by choice and some of it is by system. So the system is set up. If you go to the DMV, get your license, you don't check a box, you're automatically thrown into an unaffiliated.
It takes 2 minutes, though, to walk on any site and say, I'm going to register as a
Well,
Democrat.
I want to do it, but if you don't and you don't look for it, the point is the system is already set to put you over here.
Right.
And so there's a controllability that comes with that too.
Yeah, no, I completely
It's a both and.
I agree with you. We're not willing to have the hard conversations. And I talked to you this morning about authenticity.
Yeah.
We have to be authentic. I mean, at some point, we got to be willing to have hard conversations about where we sit. And when you stop being able to have that because you can create a dog whistle or, a gotcha moment, well, then we're missing the ability to understand what's coming next.
Sure.
And it's becoming more and more obvious that Team Evil, there's just a group of them. They have names.
They do.
And I don't believe it's going to be neighbor versus neighbor. I think leadership has played a large part in what they've done to our country. And I think that people are starting to recognize that rather than looking at each other and having this fight with each other, they're turning it and going, you took 56 cents on every dollar from me. You were the one that let my kids get groomed. You were the one that took away opportunity. And you're the one that created all this opportunity for yourself so you could eat, while you put flock cameras on every corner and did everything you could to hurt me. I think it's coming.
It is coming. I wouldn't argue that at all.
And that's not a call to violence. That's recognizing that violence will be necessary in order to defeat evil.
Yeah, I think anybody that thinks that's a call to violence isn't listening. So Charlie Kirk called this stuff out. I mean, it's interesting that he's referencing it. Charlie called this out repeatedly, and he got killed for it. Yeah, he called it out repeatedly.
Even the stuff that I've said about the synagogue of Satan and people that are in, I mean, he said similar things, which I think is ultimately what ended up getting him killed.
It was
Right.
his last two. They weren't debate. It was when he was sitting up on a stage and he was talking about it. Those were the most notable times that he spoke out. And then a few weeks later, he was killed. I mean, he was speaking out against what was happening in Israel, specifically with Netanyahu, with Trump, and things that were happening therein.
And it's not, he wasn't anti-Trump, and he's not anti-Israel.
No.
Right. And I think this is the reason why we can't be honest. We can't have truthful conversations, because they're allowed to basically use the legal system in order to beat you with it. They're allowed to take away from you the ability to think for yourself. And they replace that with something that says that you either do what we say, again, shouting you down, yelling you down, you either do what we say, or you're a bigoted, racist, anti-Semitic, Islamophobe. I don't even know.
I mean, what comes from it is the old adage of burn down your city, or we're going to burn down your city.
Yeah.
And you're sitting here going, wait, so my option is to burn down
Burn
my
down
city? I said fatigue earlier. I think there's a fatigue that is going, and I'll give you two simple examples, because I don't think this has anything to do with skin color, even though everybody wants to make things about race. I think people, when I look at, so I worked inner city sheriff's department, Black community.
Yeah.
I can sit back and categorically tell you there's a culture that happens. And people are tired of that culture. They're not tired of a skin color, they're tired of a culture. And I would say the same thing when I look at like white liberalism. I don't look at somebody and go, white liberal, that's the term that gets put on it. And that's what everybody's using. It's just their culture. You have a culture issue in the Liberal Party. You have a culture issue here. I grew up in a culture issue in small town Kentucky. When I moved from small town Kentucky to Detroit, Michigan, I had a big old y'all when I'd answer. I got beat up for it, right? Because my culture didn't assimilate with that culture. But I grew into culture and then suddenly realized how amazing it was. And that's how you can identify a lot of these things. You see it for what it is. But instead we've made it about
You sure it
skin
wasn't
color and
Stockholm
names.
syndrome?
Pretty sure. Pretty sure. Pretty sure.
But every time we have this conversation, we sit up here and we talk about this, we have platforms that say, oh, you're not allowed to talk about that. You're not allowed to talk about.
But why?
That's why. That's my problem. That's my problem. Every time we want to have a conversation, we want to be, let's just be intellectually or academically honest. Let's just scrape the surface, talk about really difficult things. They do what this person did. And I want you to pay attention to what they said. Let's go ahead and play this about the First Amendment taking away your ability to speak the truth. Go ahead and play it.
This is by far the scariest video I've ever posted. Stick around to the end, and you'll see why.
Oh, freak!
Wait, sorry, wrong video. I meant this one.
Good to hear, but it's time to limit the First Amendment in order to protect it. And quickly before it's too late.
What do you mean?
I mean that we need to control the platforms, all the social platforms. We need to stack rank the authenticity of every person that expresses themselves online, and take control over what they are saying based on that ranking.
The government.
The government should
control the social media.
Yeah. Shlomo is not just talking about the freedom of speech, might I remind you. This is what he's talking about. Told you so. What an interesting time to be alive, is it not? Look, this video is never going to see the light of day for obvious reasons. So if you don't mind using these buttons, this is how we...
Sounds like 1939 to me.
It's creating the adverse effect.
Sure.
But what he's saying is you're not allowed to speak at all unless we say that this is what you can say. Why is it, Micah, why is it that people believe that they can take away your ability to speak? And why is it so dangerous? Why is he saying that you're not allowed to have a First Amendment right?
Well, I think it's the first guy. It's the fear. It's the awakening of ignorance to the thing that I didn't realize I was while I was screaming it at everybody else. I was actually believing that it was this. And when I stopped back, the biggest thing that I took away from that guy, outside of him reaching out to his old man, was the fact that he looked in the mirror and realized I was talking about myself. And that then goes here because people won't do that. Self-awareness, critical thinking starts with examining yourself.
But if they could stop you from ever examining yourself, then the white liberalism would take over. That would be the only that would be the prevailing. You have to believe this. Anytime that you're in a society where society says you have to believe this, or the bully pulpit comes after you, puts scarlet letters on you, that means you're going in the wrong direction, doesn't it?
Yeah, of course it does.
So in the United States, you're allowed to believe one thing and one thing only. Anthony Fauci's a hero. I said that with a straight face. Is a hero. President Trump is a bad person. You know, the radical leftists that want to cut off your kids' pee-pee, that's normal. You see what I mean? But if you go against any of that, you're a bigoted, homophobe, transphobe. I mean, I could phobia you to death. I could chop you up.
Yeah. So it goes back to one thing and one thing only for me. And it's Mike Tyson. Everybody's got a game plan until they get punched in the mouth.
Right.
And nobody's getting punched
Which
in
is
the mouth.
why
right
I said
now.
we're going to violence.
We will, because nobody's getting punched in the mouth right now. And it's not, it comes to eventually you got, it's the way I look at it is the teeter-totter, right? I mean, you got the big kid on the bottom, the skinny kid on the top, and the skinny kid can't get off. And he's just controlling. He's just sitting up there, and you got to jump off. Sooner or later, you got to engage. I don't know what that moment looks like, but inevitably, I watched a video. I'll give you an example. I watched a video the other day. Like, I have no problem standing in the face of violence. I say this all the time. Call it evil, stand in the face of violence. I watched a video the other day on a subway where a young black man was by himself, and there was a woman on there. Did you see it? Where he beat her half to death. It's gone viral now. So this guy, they're riding by themselves. He walks over to her, starts punching her, kicking her, throwing her around, slamming
because
her
of the
into the wall.
propaganda they're developing.
Because of the propaganda. That is different because you can stand in the face of that. You can call it out. You can do something physical with it, right? Like you could stop that guy at any cost. At any cost. But when somebody just says it to you, if he just walks up and starts screaming at her and you jump up and you punch him in the mouth, that might be a 50-50 thing because, there's a presence of a male versus female. When you have two dudes screaming at each other and they're just using language and they're shouting you down like what you're talking about, and if you hit them, now you've committed assault because we've stopped enforcing rule of law. Yeah. So back when I was a cop, we used to have a thing called harassment. We used to have a thing called disorderly conduct. You don't see these charges made anymore. Well, and if you did, they're just going to walk away anyway.
If you do, it's because you have somebody staying in front of an abortion clinic saying, hey, look, you have an option. You could not kill your baby. You could go to adoption. There's these other opportunities for you. And then, as a matter of fact, this happened in New York where a guy was cited for disorderly conduct for words that he said about somebody going and getting an abortion. It was in front of an abortion clinic.
Their words is the key. Yeah. So that's where I go back to it. You're only going to get, when you get punched in the mouth, that's where this stuff happens. So you can look at it from the physical element, Joe, of you clock somebody for saying something. I look at it from the judicial executive side of things. And I've said this before on the show. I'll say it again. When you start having punitive damage for judges for releasing these guys back out into the streets, then and only then, when they fear the account of something, will things start changing and they're going to go, wait a second, if I'm going to get charged for it, then I'm definitely going to make sure this guy goes to jail and there's a sentence. Because right now we're just letting everything go, which then propagates all of this stuff. And then people that are trying to take, I think, the high road, an ethical road, a moral road, a Christ-centered road, and going, look, I don't want to, then all of a sudden they become weak because then they're afraid to step into it. I'm not. I'm afraid. I'm just afraid of no man. So I will walk into the middle of violence and stop it if I feel there's a victim that deserves to be protected. And at the same time, I'm going to love everybody through it to the best of my ability. It's just the division line in the middle of that's getting narrowed. And it's getting to a point where sooner or later, you're just going to start seeing warfare because nobody's going to, they're going to get to a point where nobody's going to put up with it anymore.
Well, I think we're past that point.
But it's not become physical yet. That's my point. When that happens, then it's going to take off.
But it is becoming physical.
Left to right, not right to left.
No, but the right. And this is this is what I look at and go, okay, he'd be hard pressed to not look at the things that are happening in our community. And my friend said it to me. He goes, look, Joe, I ignore it. I ignore politics. I said, do your kids go to public school again or still? And he's like, no, they're homeschooled. I was like, so you don't ignore it. You're avoiding it. You can feel it. You know it's there. Team Evil's like right around the corner trying to capture your kids. And instead of being a part of that, you decide, I'm going to step out. I'm going to step out of Team Evil. I'm going to step out of the purview of Team Evil. But we're not dealing with it. And so when you don't deal with a problem and it grows and grows and grows and metastasizes to where the cancer is so big, the only thing you can do is take it out.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the point I'm trying to make. Stand over here and love well, walk the journey. You don't have to be engaged in every single thing, but you do have to recognize it and you have to be willing to step up against it. Otherwise, you're just going to get run over.
Yeah. Well, I think Americans are actually tired of everyone trying to control them.
Yes, sir. I think that's correct.
And they're tired of race baiting. They're tired of they're tired of all of it. Not just here in the United States, but everywhere. Everywhere. I want to tell you this. This is a Chicago police officer that talked about how to deal with a race baiting BLM activist. Go ahead and play it.
Prove to me you're not a racist cop by saying I love black people 3 times.
Wait, I'm trying to see something. I'm trying to say something.
Jumping on one foot.
You're a great person. You're a great person.
You know, you gotta say I love black people 3 times while hopping on one foot.
You don't want to get crazy. You're a great person.
That's crazy?
I don't like to segregate people like race, color, gender, creed, or anything. I look at everybody's the same.
But I'm clearly black and you're clearly...
I'm clearly white, but I don't judge people like color.
I said, so do you...
The content of their character.
So do you love black people?
I love everybody.
But do you love black people?
I love everybody.
But do you love black people? Do you love black people?
Same answer.
Same answer? Okay, what do you do every day to dismantle systemic racism as a police officer?
I do my best at what I do, and I just try and treat everybody as I treat myself.
What do you do every day to dismantle systemic racism as a police officer?
I just take care of myself.
Wow. These are the people that's here to protect and serve. That's crazy.
You're doing a good job.
You're not doing a good job, gang. You have horrible answers. You didn't even say you love black people, and he has the same answers as you. And you in our community all fucking day here to protect and serve who? Not us. Not us. Not us. You're a racist cop, both of you.
Yeah. I used to deal with that all the time.
Dog whistle. And everything that is wrong with this man is those white cops' problem.
Yeah.
It's their fault.
I used to deal with that all the time. I don't think much about that stuff. It's sad to me because it's a culture issue. It's brought up. I watch it over and over. I mean, you go into, and I don't, look, it's not all people. And I think that's what ends up happening is because you say something and everybody assumes it's all black or it's all white or it's all brown. That's not the issue. This is a culture issue. This is an upbringing issue. This is probably a fatherless issue.
Yeah, but where's this guy being upbrought?
Where's he being upbrought?
He's being upbrought in a liberal controlled environment.
Probably.
That limited his opportunities.
Maybe.
That stymied his ability to get education.
Certainly told him that he can't do anything without them.
Right.
That to me has always been the top-down culture. So we just celebrated Juneteenth. And you said we've already got Black History Month. The Republicans ended slavery.
Yeah, they did.
That's what Juneteenth is about. When you stop and you research, that's actually the underlying element of it.
Yeah.
It's been morphed and twisted into something else, but we should be celebrating the fact that black men became free.
Yeah.
Because hundreds of thousands of people fought on the Republican. Well, no. Let me finish.
All right.
They became free, 14th Amendment, the Emancipation Proclamation. And then fast forward a bunch of years, and the Democrats came back in and they grabbed it and they twisted it and they put them back in. It's a very different form of slavery now. The slavery is dependency. It's no longer, we've got you housed, caged, and locked down, and you can't breathe as a human being. That's the horrific element that happened in the 1800s. Nowadays, you're attached to a system that we're taking from these, giving to you, and we're telling you you can't get out from underneath it ever if you don't support us. And the support is keep regurgitating that same thing over and over.
But they're not successful.
So there's no freedom in that.
Right. They're
you
slaves.
Can't escape unless you choose to escape. You got to walk away.
So this is how we start talking about black people in the 30s and 40s and 50s. And I'm talking about black people because, frankly, the Black Americans, like there is so much blood that was spilled. Black, white, Asian, people that have been here for generations, that their blood has been spilled in order to stop slavery.
That's right.
Right?
Yeah.
But it wasn't a black or white thing. Back then, even back then, they saw it as we have to do whatever we can do in order to equal. We saw it as wrong. It was morally reprehensible.
Of course,
that you
it
had
was.
slaves. Okay, so fast forward, without white people, ending slavery didn't happen, right?
Yeah, I mean, well, that's
and look at the 20s and 30s and 40s, where the education level of Black Americans was at arguably an all-time high, right? Fathers were in the home. So what else was going on? What else was happening at that point? You had the movement with Margaret Sanger,
yeah,
that started, which is eugenics.
Yeah, eugenics. You're coming out of World War One, post World War One, walking into what arguably would be the greatest time for the Black household,
right,
in America.
Well, the late 1800s, early 1900s that's when this Reformation started, where we're actually coming into a place where we're walking in the same direction.
And then we went into ultimately the vote,
right?
The ability to vote.
Letting women vote, which you could argue maybe that should or shouldn't happen. I just figured I'd be controversial. I just throw it out there, just to throw it out there.
So glad I'm here. I actually listened to. It's funny you say that because I did listen to a video the other day of a gal that came out and said, "Here's where a lot of the feminist issues came in and all that." But that's I think that's a 2.0 show. But it was very interesting listening to her take on it when she was saying, "Wives, submit to your husbands," is she went scriptural with it, and there is an element therein. That you probably opened Pandora's jug up for that, but I really genuinely do believe when you say the 20s, 30s, and 40s,
something happened. It's like it laid the foundation.
It did.
Yeah. And that led to mass incarceration, then focusing in on segregation. You had Martin Luther King, which just like Charlie Kirk, Martin Luther King his last few speeches were very controversial because he talked about liberals specifically.
Yeah.
Remember when he was locked up in Birmingham, Alabama jail, he wrote these letters. And in this letter, he said that he doesn't, it's not the conservatives that he has a problem with. It's the liberals.
It's liberals, yeah.
That we have a problem
Even
with.
Malcolm X said it. And Malcolm X
also murdered,
but Malcolm X is Muslim, devout.
Yeah.
Hardcore anti church and Jesus. I mean, just all the way through. And even he came out and said the most dangerous thing in America is white liberals. And that was decades and decades ago. So this is prophetic in some ways when you have somebody who doesn't even look at Christianity saying this is the most dangerous thing, even over and above Islam. That's a big statement.
Well, I think so one of my issues that I have with that bold statement that they have is that if you look at JFK, Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, Charlie Kirk, there was something that happened just before each one of their deaths.
Mm-hmm.
JFK came out and talked about the fact that he needed to hand back the reins to who? The American people.
Yeah.
And that it's so every single time we've been faced with this enlightenment, Malcolm X came out and he also talked about the fact that maybe he was wrong about his idea that whites versus blacks.
He started to convert some thought processes in the end before he died. Yeah.
Martin Luther King, same thing. You talk about the speech that he had on the square that, hey, I long for the time when people will be judged by the content of their character and not by the color of their skin. And he started this rift of trying to figure out what it is that was getting himself away from the propaganda, and some of which he created, right? But they've turned the words of Malcolm X, they've turned the words of Martin Luther King, they've turned the words of even JFK against the very people that should be listening to that message.
Yeah, I mean Reagan was right after he said, if you want to essentially get America back on track, get government out of the way, and then Hinckley shot him right after that.
Yeah,
Like,
and then
watch
let
out.
him out of jail.
And let him out of jail. Yeah.
I mean, how many people are in jail for petty offenses? I mean, I don't even know. Petty meaning drug offenses get 200 years in prison. This guy shoots a sitting president, and they let him out.
Yeah. Well, we've been down that rabbit hole.
So I want to play this. This is, one of the things that I will say is that this rise that I'm talking about, this recognition of that it's going to lead to violence, and we know who the targets are. And I'm not saying that I'm calling for violence against any target. I do not want violence. I'm prepared for it, but I don't want it. Do you want violence?
No, I train. First of all, you don't plan for plan the emergency. You plan for an emergency. At the end of the day, all I've been doing my whole life is either serving publicly, protecting, or executive protection training. There's a reason for that, and I don't think it's just because it's in my DNA. I think it's because it's been gearing me my whole life towards something that was far beyond my comprehension many, many years ago, even though scripturally it's been in front of me the entire time. So yeah, no, I don't call for anything. I just know what's coming.
Well, something happened in the UK just yesterday. Did you hear about this?
I don't know.
Go ahead and play this. Starmer resigned. Go play it.
Every decision I've taken has been about putting the country I love first. That is why I will resign as leader of the Labour Party. I have spoken to His Majesty the King this morning to inform him of my decision. I will ask the National Executive Committee of the Labour Party to set out a timetable with nominations opening on the 9th of July and completed by the summer recess.
Thoughts?
Well, he stepped down. He's resigning. I mean, hundreds of thousands of women in the UK, white women, are raped. And if you speak out against the illegals that are there, then you're put in prison. So women literally have to walk down the street in their mind thinking, I'm going to be raped, 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 I'm going to be raped. And then the entire system is designed to allow those people to have a smorgasbord of rape victims. This anti-white, anti-Christian mentality, it is the attack that we're under.
Very much so.
And so if you think, the people in Europe are done, but the people in the United States are equally done. Only here, a large majority of blacks, Hispanics, whites are done.
Yes, they are. Unified done.
Unified done.
Yeah.
And they want to get to a place where they're like, listen, we know who the targets are. And we're talking about it, the judicial coup, so to speak. And they have immunity. Congress has immunity. Big Pharma has immunity. They all have immunity.
I think we threw it up on a board in here last time.
We did.
Or you did, I should say.
We did. It's just this manufactured propaganda that has allowed this evil to run rampant on our communities. And now you talk about fatigue. We have an immense amount of fatigue in our country. We're tired of basically trying to figure it out while the government takes more than their fair share and makes it so that we're basically a sharecropper in our own environment.
It's all true. It's why, again, it'll be the third time I've said, it's why I go back to walking in faith. And it's not because, look, I'm going to use the Sikh temple as an example. So Wisconsin, I think it was 2012, massacre. Guy walks in, shoots up a bunch of people inside the temple. People got down on their knees and prayed. People hid. You know what nobody did? Nobody fought back. And at the end of the day, one gunman walked in and did a lot of damage to a lot of people. And it's an event that doesn't get talked about a lot. But my buddy, one of my dearest friends in life, Brian Murphy, Lieutenant Brian Murphy, was shot 15 times in the line of duty, responding to the Sikh temple, and lived. And the gunman took his own life. Brian was the only guy that engaged him. And that guy was an unbelievable shot. I mean, on the run at 60, 70 yards. What went down in that temple that day was people going to their knees, and there were people hiding. Now, fast forward to where we're at today, people are ready to fight. They're like, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm not going to get run over. I'm not going to have evil step in. How do you take the resignation?
I think the resignation is, and the people are getting ready to rise up. You see what's happening in Ireland right now.
Yeah.
I mean, people are, and you don't even understand the fights that are happening there.
Yeah.
They're going door to door and they're burning down people's homes.
Yeah.
And you would say, well, that's wrong. What you've done to Christians and what you've done to white people by demonizing them. And I do believe that there are white people that should pay the price. They're called white liberals. They should pay the price. Now, I don't mean that they should pay the price for violently, but I think they're the reason why all this has happened. And it's just one group of people that have controlled media. They've been the chokehold of what's true and not true. And if what I'm saying is wrong, why do they have bots in social media? Why is 40% or more of all interactions that you have in social media fake people? Why would you need it?
Good control. I mean, it's the only reason for it.
You control everyone's thought process. You control the reality. You control the mores of society by creating a narrative that's just not true.
It's just a giant psyop.
I think so. I mean, in large part, it has to be.
I mean, otherwise, why would you have 40% of
anything be fake?
Yeah.
And it's a large portion. There are companies out there. Their only job is to make some. Look, I went to a concert for Capital One, right? It's a Capital One concert, country music concert. It was in Vegas. I was invited there because we spent a bunch of money with Capital One. So we get down there. It was televised everywhere. It's the iHeart Capital One, huge deal, right? And I get down there and I look around and it's empty. And just as the people are getting ready to go on stage, a group of like 500 people that are called fillers come and sit down in the audience and make it look like the place is absolutely packed out. But it wasn't. It wasn't. Did you know they did that?
No. Well, I mean, I know what fillers are. They do it. They do it in the Oscars and other places like that all the time. Yeah.
Right.
Of course.
But I mean, this place was empty.
Yeah.
And this is a televised deal. All of a sudden, you had a ton of people that came in and sat in seats. And when they were done having them sit in those seats, they would get a little move up to this section. And they do it in that section.
Probably where they're filming in different areas. Probably paid to go out in the streets afterwards, too.
Probably. But it's not real.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, it's an impression. We're making it fake.
All right, we're going to go to it's important to understand propaganda because frankly, it's all around you. And if you don't do the heavy lifting, you'll never see it. We're going to take a commercial break. When we come back, we're going to talk about our military. This will be a good one. We'll be right back.
Oh, hi. I almost didn't see you there. Welcome to DCF Buns, where you can find the freshest buns in town, if I do say so myself. Our master bakers teach class every week. So whether you're new to baking or trying to improve your culinary skills, we got you covered. And we can help you bake the cake of your dreams. We'll even clean your cake if you want. And if you don't want to bake anything yourself, we have loads of fresh buns available in a variety of shapes and sizes. Check us out at dcfbuns.com to learn more. DCF Buns, we keep the buns hot and the deals hotter. Buns.
In every thread, in every stitch, Honor-Bound USA weaves the fabric of the American spirit. It's not just apparel, it's a testament to God, family, and country. At Honor-Bound USA, we're a family of patriots who put our faith, family, and America first. When you visit our website, you'll find a line of products that embody our commitment to pray, stand, speak, and act. As the official site for the Untamed podcast, all of our products proclaim speaking the truth with courage. We also have the powerful documentary from Professor David Clements, Let My People Go. Identify yourself as one of the few who are willing to stand for what they believe in. Join the Honor-Bound USA family today. Wear it as a badge of honor, commitment to the values that shape us, and a pledge to the bright future we will build together. Because when you're honor-bound, You're not just wearing a brand, you're embodying a lifestyle.
There's a lot of people, they have questions about Islam, about Muslims, but they have not felt comfortable enough to ask those pertinent questions that may come up for them. I've heard that we as Muslims don't believe in Jesus. Who's heard that before? Raise your hand. Yeah, that's all right. Yes. Yeah, well, I know that's a popular teaching. Yeah, those Muslims, they don't believe in Jesus. That is not true. He is mentioned more in the Quran than even the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings of God be upon them both. By name, Jesus is mentioned 25 times. Who has heard that there are Muslims in the world that force people to convert? Who's heard that before? Yeah, I've heard it before as well. Is that true? Does it happen? Yes, it does. It does happen. Now, is that in alignment with what God says in the Quran? No, it does not. It clearly says there is no compulsion in the deen. In the religion, you cannot compel. You can't compel people. You can't force people. God has given us the freedom of choice, the free will to either believe in him or not to believe in him, to either adhere to his commands or to rebel against him. That is our choice. In other words, you do you and I do me.
By the way, what he said is true.
Yeah, we have free will.
But Muslims believe in Jesus.
Yeah, they do.
And now this is where I get in trouble.
So does the devil.
Yeah. This is true. This is true too. But I just don't understand why that conversation came up for our military. Why?
I don't know. I don't know. I'd love to add more to that. Freedom of religion.
But that's okay. Except for when you're Christian.
Well, I'm sure the military has, people that are running from the Jewish side of things, the Christian side of things.
Absolutely not.
What do you mean no?
No,
nobody in the military is leading as Christian?
So my friend's a chaplain.
Yeah.
In the military.
Yeah.
Right? He's not allowed to stand up in front of a group of people and talk about Jesus and Christianity.
Really?
No. He's allowed to pray for them. He's allowed to show up and offer counsel. He's allowed to meet with them. That would not happen with a Christian chaplain.
Well, my daughter has church service on a boat.
Church service, yes. That's not church service.
I see what you're saying.
Right?
Yeah.
That's not even Muslim service. That's a recruitment of, hey, let me tell you about the Muslim faith.
No, I got you.
Where is this happening in the Christian faith?
Yeah.
Right?
I can't.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. I mean that. Yeah. I mean, look, I can call up Donald and ask him. He's running the country. He's the head of the military.
Yeah. I want to play this. So this also happened in New York City. The streets of New York City on Father's Day weekend.
Prayer time.
This is crazy. Go ahead and play it.
Bro, you put, yo, I don't know if it was 10 people.
Looks like Hamtramck with taller building.
Did that look like America to you?
No, I've seen so many of those, Joe. I've seen that. I've seen them drop down hundreds of prayer rugs in the middle of the streets, down the avenues.
But I'm talking about what Afghanistan look like before the switchover? What Iran looked like before the switchover? What all these countries look like switchover?
Look like that.
And look at it now.
Yeah. I know. Look, we said it. We've said it a handful of times. It will end, sadly, when there's violence. You don't have to call for it. You can just see what's coming.
And I'm not calling for it. I wish it would not be necessary. But how do you see what is happening to America and not look at that and go, this is...
Well, there's more mosques being built in Texas than anywhere in the United States right now. Right? And I said in the last podcast...
And they get free food and free housing and free education and free on the backs of America.
Yeah. But as we said in the last... Why Texas? Why Michigan? Because they're corridors. They're corridors. So, Northern Corridor, Dearborn, Detroit, Hamtramck. Southern Corridor, Brownsville, all the surrounding areas. You're just coming in and fixated in building right there. I mean, if somebody had said to you 20 years ago, do you think they'd be building a mosque in Texas? What would you have thought? On the heels of...
Oh, there was a mosque in Texas 20 years ago.
Yeah, but I'm saying building. Like, hey, we're going to start building these things.
Well, they're building the entire communities. I mean, they're building entire communities where it's Muslim only.
Have you been to the UK recently?
Same thing.
Dude, there's areas you can't even go into. Physically go into.
I went just in 2020. I went there just because I wanted to see if I could get in.
I was there a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
Oh, the no-go zones are legit. Cops don't even go in there anymore. There's no more government in those areas. It's Sharia law now. Yeah.
How did they even allow that to happen?
Because they did allow it to happen. That's the whole point.
Well, you could just walk in and just stop it.
Go to Dearborn right now. Tell me. So when I
went to Dearborn.
When I lived in Michigan, 7 years ago, we moved here 6 years prior. So 34 years ago, there were 50,000-ish Muslim in the Dearborn area. It's 5 million now.
5 million.
5 million between Dearborn, Hamtramck, and the outlying areas. If my number's wrong, put it up online.
Look, the thing that I was showing you, and what I want to give is the point of that is that demonstration over the weekend was not a demonstration of even the Muslim faith. It was a demonstration honoring what? Martyrdom. The creation of martyrs. They're literally in our face saying that.
Yeah. This is what Sharia law is.
But we sit back and watch it happen.
Because everybody's afraid to do something. Who's doing anything?
Yeah.
Name the anything that somebody is doing.
I don't think anything's happening. All right, we're going to take another quick commercial break so I can pop out for a second, and we'll be right back. Just quick commercial break.
Oh, hi, I almost didn't see you there. Welcome to DCF Buns, where you can find the freshest buns in town, if I do say so myself. Oh, our master bakers teach class every week, so whether you're new to baking or trying to improve your culinary skills, we got you covered. And we can help you bake the cake of your dreams. We'll even clean your cake if you want. And if you don't want to bake anything yourself, we have loads of fresh buns available in a variety of shapes and sizes. Check us out at dcfbuns.com to learn more. DCF Buns, we keep the buns hot and the deals hotter. Buns.
In every thread, in every stitch, Honor-Bound USA weaves the fabric of the American spirit. It's not just apparel, it's a testament to God, family, and country. At Honor-Bound USA, we're a family of patriots who put our faith, family, and America first. When you visit our website, you'll find a line of products that embody our commitment to pray, stand, speak, and act. As the official site for the Untamed podcast, all of our products proclaim speaking the truth with courage. We also have the powerful documentary from Professor David Clements, Let My People Go. Identify yourself as one of the few who are willing to stand for what they believe in. Join the Honor-Bound USA family today. Wear it as a badge of honor, commitment to the values that shape us, and a pledge to the bright future we will build together. Because when you're honor-bound, you're not just wearing a brand, you're embodying a lifestyle. check out the by the way, check out the White House's new post.
Haven't seen it.
Whew. Find it if you can. Sorry, I had to use the restroom, bro. I was sitting here literally dying. Yeah. Yes. All right. So I have to put this up because I wasn't going to say anything, and somebody sent me a text message. I ran to the bathroom and it shows it to me, and he puts it up on. So you know the Q movement, and I have not been a fan of the Q anything, right? And then last week, somebody sent me a bunch of stuff and said, just go research it. So I did. And I looked into things that President Trump said, and I looked into, because there's a growing amount of fatigue and hopelessness that's starting to settle in.
Yes.
Right? Would you agree?
Oh, very much so.
And you see a vast majority of people are they're done.
Yeah.
They're just over it.
Yeah.
Okay. So I went and just got in this rabbit hole, went down the Reddit and Discord and checked out Q and went all the Q sites. I stayed up till 4:00 in the morning reading. At the end of it, I was like, man, this can't. I felt like a Q-tard.
But you don't think it's legit?
I don't even know if I can say this out loud. I think something big is about to happen. Right?
It sure feels like it.
And I think that there's going to be mass arrests, and I think lots of stuff's going to happen. And I feel calm about that. It's really weird. But
it's probably because you're ready.
I am ready.
Yeah.
So put this up real quick. This is on the White House. The White House X feed. White House will be Q posting today. Right? That's not the only one. There's another one where it says, go ahead, put it up if you would. Always trust. America will be the world's leader in quantum technologies. Make America great again. Bro, this is on the White House.
Yeah.
X feed.
Yeah. What
is happening right now? And yes, the more I read about Q, the more I'm like, all right, we're gonna have military tribunals, 100,000 people or so are gonna get the choppy chop. They're gonna get brought in. Choppy chop meaning that they're gonna go to jail, right? They're gonna be tried.
But
right?
who's gonna enforce it?
Man, I don't know, but it's hard. You're gonna have at least 100,000 people. You got to. Right?
I mean, you are if you're making a say. I'm still trying to figure out who's going to enforce it, though. Like, who's going to take action on that?
The military?
You think they're really going to believe in that?
I think it's really difficult to see who believes what. But it's hard when you got the White House putting up Q stuff. Right? I mean, come on, tell me that's not like, you're not like going,
yeah. I mean, it's a rabbit hole, dude.
And I went down the rabbit hole.
It's
and
a
I kept
rabbit
thinking to myself, okay, if you look at what's happening in like France and all these different places, I mean, Macron's married to a man, maybe. Candace Owens says she is. See, this is why we can't have nice things, because you put up stuff about Q. All right, we're gonna skip away from Q for a minute. The biggest part about that thing I was talking about from New York City is that it's a hail to
martyrdom,
which is war.
Yeah, that's why I said Sharia law. There's a big difference between there's a big difference between peace-loving Muslims and Sharia law.
And here's what's happening in the UK. Now, you cannot own a gun except for by permit, and it has to stay at the hunting lodge or wherever you are in the UK. You can't buy a knife if you're under the age of 18. You billy clubs are out. I mean, literally everything that you could beat. Now, it doesn't mean that it's not happening. It is happening, but it's all illegal. So now everybody's just operating illegally, right? Which means they can pick and choose winners and losers. That's a lawless society. That's what you have happen in the UK. But check this out. These are thousands of Muslims hunting British patriots in the UK. Play it.
Come, who's gonna come? Where is it? Come on, guys. What's up? Nara Takbir. Allahu Akbar. That's it. Nara Takbir. Allahu Akbar. Takbir. Allahu Akbar. What are you again? A little peaceful thing in space, and then I guess.
Hunting British.
Yeah.
The people, citizens.
Well, the cops don't even have guns. Some of them.
And that's what's happening in the United States right now. I want to play this video. This is the video you're talking about in a New York subway.
Oh, with the lady?
Yeah.
Oh, it's disturbing.
Yeah. Go ahead and play it. Well, this is a guy that literally is abusing this woman, beating her.
Kneeing her in the head, kicking her in the ribs. He walked from the other end of the subway car over to her, by the way. And she sees him coming. If you actually watch this from the, there's a little clearer view, you actually see her tense up and turn right before he gets to her. She knew it was coming. She knew it. I mean, that.
What happened with the guy?
I don't know. I don't know the end result. I don't know.
Hey,
I saw the video and went, well, here we go again. I thought he was going to kill her. But this is what's happening. I mean, you have a young, unfathered Black society and a culture that is raised on violence, and this becomes normalized. And then you have a defenseless woman sitting there.
Most Black people are not like that.
No, that's what I'm saying. It's a small portion of a culture
that are able to be manipulated into this
that is
propaganda.
Controlling the rest of it. I mean, you got 535 in DC controlling 350 million people. So if people don't think that there's a small percentage of a Black culture that is now representing all Black,
It's pervasive.
It's
pervasive. Matter of fact, you can go to Anacostia, Ward 6, Ward 7 in DC.
Yeah.
And prior to the National Guard coming there, you couldn't go out after 6 o'clock at night.
Yeah, now you can.
Yeah, now you can go out after 6 o'clock at night, but they live that way forever. And most people that live there are good people.
Yeah.
But you have a group of thugs that run around terrorizing the communities, shooting people, robbing them, doing all the things that it's like a heyday. It's like 6 o'clock at night comes and the vampires come out at night and they just do all sorts of stuff to destroy the community.
I picked my wife up from the airport Friday morning at 3 a.m. My son came back from Japan. He was there 6 months, comes back. I'm going to DIA. Their flight they're supposed to get them at midnight and they get pushed. Something happens, delay. I'm driving down 25 to 225. I'm going down 225 and I get to 6th Avenue. 2 guys pass me and one guy's hanging out the window shooting at the other car.
What?
Went right past me, 3 a.m. Yeah. This is the second time I've been going down 225. The last time I went down 225 was about a year ago.
Wait, and he's shooting at another car?
Shooting at another car. Last time I went down 225 a year ago.
Now you called the Popo. And they
I didn't call anybody. Up off of Mississippi, if you go a little bit past Mississippi, there's a warehouse district right there, and there was a full gangbanger shootout going on. That's 15 miles from my house, as a crow flies. So this kind of stuff happens. We're just where we're at. We're kind of removed.
You didn't call anybody?
No, I had my gun sitting next to me. There you go.
Put it up. You have the story? All right, get the post and let's put the video back up again.
$1,500 bond.
$1,500 bond.
This is why I say punitive damages for judges. This is exactly what I'm talking about. If that woman could sue
this woman is getting beat.
Yeah, half to death.
Yeah.
By somebody who doesn't care,
By an illegal, by the way.
I don't know whether he is or isn't, but the bottom line is it doesn't really matter.
His name's Alphabet.
It doesn't matter. What matters is we got a judge to let him out for $1,500. He should be buried under the jail. This is a perfect example of what I'm talking about.
It's they pick winners and losers. This is the whole idea of picking winners and losers.
Yes. Yeah. Fair enough. I'm going to walk it back for a second. If that judge could get sued by that woman for $1 million punitively,
yeah,
that would never happen again. And you get all judges on board.
This is Miami public transit. This is in Miami? Hold on a second. Time out.
It's probably Haitian.
This is, his name's Joshua King. Brutally assaulted Andrea Priorta on a Miami public transit. Surveillance video captured the black man attacking the white woman. She suffered multiple injuries and was hospitalized. Released on a $1,500 bond. This is in Miami, in Florida. Fully prosecute King and the woke judge.
Yeah.
It's a judicial coup.
Yes.
They are literally putting criminals on the street. Now, do you know what I would say when I say that these judges have terrorized our communities?
Yeah.
Terrorized them.
Hence my solution. If we just keep hammering the problem, we don't, I want a solution. The solution to me is legislation that judges, it's the same way that cops do here. When they first said, when I was in law enforcement back in the day and they said, oh, they're taking away immunity, I'm like, good. If you got somebody who's corrupt doing something, you should be able to criminally charge that cop. I have zero problem with that.
They don't even go to jail. None of them go to jail. Can you imagine if the judges got locked up?
That's my point. That's civilly. So what's the judge more afraid of? Going to jail or losing his livelihood? If you could be sued punitively, the judge, the same way a cop can be sued. Like I don't have immunity from that. If I violate somebody's rights, I can be charged criminally and then they can come back after me civilly. OJ lost. OJ didn't go to jail for murdering 2 people, but he lost civilly. We need to do the same thing to judges. I'm telling you, you would stop this overnight.
Well,
I'm all about solutions.
Just so you know that there's a country in the world. There's 2 of them actually. Russia. I mean, the ones that we seem to not like. You have Russia and you have Poland. You can't get away with any of this stuff there, right? They'll put you in a box.
Yeah, very harshly actually.
This is what happened when a Polish man confronts them trying to pray in his front area in Poland. Go ahead and play it.
Nie ma żadnego. Nie jebie was Allah.
Allah doesn't give it. This is Poland, and you're going to lay out your carpets here. That's all there is to it. He's basically ran them off.
To wy swoją religię tu wpierdalacie.
In Polish.
Polska i tyle, rozumiesz?
This is Poland, period.
Polska, Jezus Chrystus i tyle, i wszystko w
That's
temacie.
it. Yeah. End of story.
Gdzie kurwa rozkładać, gdzie chcecie jakieś dywany swoje modły robić. Co to ma być? Chcesz się pomodlić? Chcesz się pomodlić? Idź do kościoła. Albo do swojej świątyni. A nie kurwa w miejscu publicznym weź dywany rozkładał. Nie ma żadnej gadki. Chcesz do swojego kurwa kościoła, rób sobie co chcesz. Tu jest Polska. Tu jest Polska, nie ma kurwa dyskusji. Chcesz się modlić, idź sobie do świątyni. Wszystko w temacie. Chcesz iść się modlić, idziesz do swojej świątyni, rozumiesz? A nie rozkładacie tutaj dywany i co to ma być? Cześć, pozdrawiam. Ty jesteś jebany. No i co? No i co? No i co? Ja się nie będę z tą szarpał, bo tu się człowiek, tu się nie bije, my tu mamy prawo, wiesz? To nie jest jak u was.
Good job. He did a good job.
But in the United States, they want to take away our First Amendment.
Yeah.
And you have someone from Israel that came here and said, we need to take away the First Amendment before it's too late.
Yeah.
Because people are speaking the truth.
Right.
You have social platforms that are censoring people every day.
That's why I said it feels like 1939. This is pre-cattle car Germany right now.
The problem is the good people, and I'll just call them, good Jews, good the good people end up paying the price.
Yeah.
For the price of those evil people, unless we target those people. Target meaning for prosecution, and not for violence.
Yeah, people. Yeah,
Right.
we got to use the law. Hence my solution on the judges. I have the same thing on the criminal side. Look, when a guy with a rap sheet of arson lights a bar on fire, and you let him out on a PR bond, and then you go back the next night and you burn down a local establishment that puts 30-some
Douglas
people out
County,
of jail.
Colorado.
Yeah. And that guy gets a $10,000 bond, which you're paying 10% of, and you're out of jail on $1,000 on a third arson. We have a problem. And we have a culture problem, we have a judiciary problem, we have a lot of problems. Explain to me, just on that alone, because I can get fired up over this. Explain to me, you're the judge, you're sitting up there. You got a livelihood. You're representing law, Lady Justice, blindfolded, and you're sitting back. How do you come to a conclusion to go, I'm going to let you out on your third arson for essentially $1,000? How do you let a guy out that beats a woman half to death on public social media and gets a $1,500 bond? How do you, like, in your head, make that make sense to me? Because I look at that and I think, just from a human standpoint, forget the judge. Forget the fact that you're the arbiter of the law in this. How, just as a human being, do you not look at that and be sickened? And I go, okay, so you attempted to take this woman's life, $1 million bond minimum, just as a human being. Now, as a judge, because I know the law, I interpret the law, I'm responsible for it, $5 million. Because I know what you're going to do, because you have this history. I'm taking not just the emotion and the human side of it. Now I'm looking at it and I'm weighing it through you've done this before. Irina Zerga, 14 felonies, and now all of a sudden the guy can't go to court, but 13 different times he could. And what did he get? I was sharing with him the other day, I think the guy had 57 arrests, 35 felonies, 38 years old. Mathematically, make that make sense. That means the guy's going to jail like once every month and a half on felonies. And you're like, how is that even possible? How do you, as a judge, how do you not look at that and go, well, 37 times my predecessor screwed this up, but you know what? $25 million bond. I mean, how else are you going to fix this stuff? If it's follow the money, then follow the money there.
To fix it.
I know it's not, but how? If we don't hold that to account and change it, then you and I are just going to keep beating the nail with a hammer. I want the solution, and the solution for me, when I look at it, I look at that right there, and I think to myself, go back to the 1,000 guys running down the street. That's why I said to you earlier, who's going to enforce this? Who's going to enforce it? You can't even enforce that right now.
Well, I mean, here's the problem, is that everyone's at a different level. So if I was on the street when those 1,000, people ran down Ali Akbar and started beating people, and I was one of those people,
you're going to stand up.
I promise you this. Someone's not going home that night.
Yeah, you're stepping up, because it's evil.
Yeah.
Right? It's evil being carried out in the I mean, it's an actionable step. That's Romans. That's the book of Romans. I mean, it's Romans 13:4 in action. I look at this. This is why I said from the very beginning, I go back to salvation. I go back to blessed are the peacemakers. Blessed are those.
Beatitudes.
You got to live there. And if you don't live there, then you have this chaos. But the other side of chaos is there's also actionable steps that need to be taken. We're called to follow God's law, which we're also follow man's law, unless man's law goes against God's law. And right now it's going against God's law, period. And it's time to have church leaders take a stand, men and women of faith take a stand and say, enough is enough. But right now, I think people are terrified. I think they're afraid to speak out. I think they're afraid to say anything because, to your point in the very beginning, you're going to be shouted out. You're going to be called names, and people pull back and they go into a recluse and they don't want to come out. And this thing metastasizes and it gets bigger because fear drives evil, and evil drives good people away from taking a stand. Who's going to stand in the face of it? Who's going to do it?
I don't know.
It ain't going to be the police. How many cops do you have right now? How many cops do you have? So, town of Castle Rock, what do they got? 14, 15 guys on duty? You have 500 people show up? They can't even control road racing and e-bikes out there right now. And it's not because I don't love law
enforcement. Team Evil has figured that out.
I know
right?
that.
But
because
the good
you keep
people
pressing
haven't figured it out.
Yeah. And at what time, when do the good people step up? This again, I will always go back to faith first, follow love. And until you're standing in the face of evil, then you take a stance. But right now, man's law, that's the middle ground. That's what God calls us to follow is man's law. We're not. The law's not doing anything. That's why you got a $1,500 bond. That is not protecting people. Now we got to start stepping up and saying, what do we do next?
Well, I think there's a lot we can do. But while we're doing that, I want to say, someone just sent me a text message saying, Joe, are you anti-Muslim?
What?
No, I'm not anti-Muslim. Or you're not anti-Muslim.
Not at all.
I don't think anyone like me or Micah could go and work in the Middle East, do the things that I know that I've done if I was anti-Muslim. But you do have a radical element that is really bad.
There's a radical element in America called liberalism right now.
Yeah. It's a disease.
It scares me. I'm still going to try to love people through it.
Yeah. Well, you want to see what's happening in Chicago right now?
This episode's fun.
God play it.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Alhamdulillah rabbil alameen. I'm Sadiq Ali, live right here, Chicago, Illinois, with the Muslims. Alhamdulillah. We want to send everybody an Eid Mubarak, happy Eid. This is our Eid for Chicago. Alhamdulillah. Takbir. 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 This is what we doing in Chicago. We doing it every year. Alhamdulillah. Come rock with us in Chicago. Man, we all the Muslims. We all together. We all together. We all together. We're going to stay together because that's what we do. We Muslims. We love each other. Alhamdulillah. May Allah reward us and place us all high. And may Allah accept our fast. Alhamdulillah. Takbir. 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 A new era of peace. Alhamdulillah.
Well, I just have a difference of opinion on faith. I mean, there's a lot of religion, like 10,000, I think, religions, something like that.
Yeah, I mean, a vast majority of them are Christian. They trace back to the Abrahamic faith.
I believe in Jesus Christ. I'll stand out and I'll stand it all day long. I'll still stand next to people, love people. I'm not going to believe the same thing they do. Look, hey, we could split hairs all the way down to the type of shoes you pick and the color of your car. There's a reason there's 15 different automobile manufacturers with 47 different options. Like, not everybody drives a Hyundai, not everybody drives a Porsche. I mean, you got choices. So it's your thing. I believe in eternal salvation through Scripture, and I will stand on it because there's not only Scripture, there's prophecies that have been foretold. I don't believe in Scientology. I like Tom Cruise movies. I think he's a really good actor. I think it's really cool that he does his own stunts. I would love Tom Cruise to come in here, sit down right here in that chair, and have a fun conversation with Tom Cruise and tell him about Jesus Christ. I would love that. The same way I'd like to talk to that guy.
Well, are Scientologists Christian?
I don't know. I don't study enough Scientology to know what it is. I just know that it has to do with something that I'm not on board with from the standpoint of how I've seen the rhetoric come, and this will go into various faiths. And I'm sure that there were people that will look at me and go, I don't believe in God for the same reason. I don't believe in Jesus for the same reason. You don't believe in that. I don't hate that person.
Yeah, no, I don't either.
It has nothing to do with hating anybody. It has to do with what evil is presenting itself. So that guy, let me ask you this: the guy on the subway, what was his faith?
In the subway?
You have no idea.
Team evil.
It's a dude. It's a bad dude doing bad things, right? I'm not going to sit down and go, "Hey, are you Muslim? Are you Christian? Are you Jewish?" I'm going to stop you from beating a woman's face in.
Yeah.
And at whatever level I got to go to with a stranger, I'm willing to die for that stranger in an act like that. Like that to me is what we as men should be doing. We should be called to stand in the face of evil.
1,000%.
It has nothing to do with skin color. I don't have to like your religion. I don't even have to completely understand your religion when I believe my faith in Jesus Christ is it. I don't need to conform to yours, and I'm not asking you to conform. I'm asking you to read something or look at it the same way you would ask me to read. I have read, I would say, the majority of the Quran over about 10 years. I've tried, I've looked at it, and I went, yeah, there's nothing there that draws me in that says this is the answer.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think there's only the way, the truth, and the light.
Period.
Right?
For me.
And but I have read the Quran. There's actually lots of teachings of Jesus that are in the Quran. And people are like, well, that's not the same Jesus. Yes, it is. right? But that's not the same God. I just, my biggest problem with religion is that people use it to do bad things.
Yeah,
and
it
then,
becomes fanatical.
yeah. Well, this was kind of fun. We have to talk about fanatics.
Do we have another video? No. All right. That was heavy.
I mean, I could do videos all day, though. I just think I think that what's happening right now is it's endemic of what's happening across the world, right? And that didn't happen because it spread through social media. It happened because there are institutions that want to create this craziness across the world.
So let's walk back for just a second on one thing that America is founded on. America is our founding fathers were what?
Christian.
Okay. If you look at our First Amendment, the very first portion of the First Amendment is your freedom to do what? It's not
freedom of religion.
It's freedom of religion.
Yeah.
With that comes thoughts, opinions, betrayals, actions, angers, frustrations. Da, 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 da. Now, you could move to a portion of, say, Korea, and they will tell you exactly what you're going to practice. You could move to a portion of China, and they will tell you exactly what you're going to practice, right?
Right.
We in America are infighting over the very gift that our forefathers sat down and said, hey, before we get this puppy rolling, before we put this train on the tracks, let's sit down and let's look at what we want America to be. There's a gathering, a melting pot, the phrases that we've all used. And here we are in modern day times with devices. I mean, I can communicate with my daughter in Iran right now in the Straits of Hormuz within 10 seconds. I can get an answer. Amazing technology. They didn't know back then we were going to have this. I don't think that anybody and their brother would have thought, what's a computer? Never even been your thought process. You got to look at what is the value of man? What does man bring? What does man stand for? Do we want to be a party of everybody's excluded from this nation but us? Or do we want to bring everybody together and say, you have an opportunity, but we're going to protect that? So we're creating the Second Amendment. And oh, by the way, we don't want you invaded, so we're going to create the Fourth Amendment. The Bill of Rights, 1791, is such an important time frame in America because over here, it gives everybody the ability to gather. It has nothing to do with what you look like. It has nothing to do with your socioeconomic status. What it has to do is with our forefathers sitting down saying, all men should be. And what we've tried to turn it into is we've taken equity and equality and we've screwed those two things up. That's why people watch sports. That's why you watch the Olympics. You don't have a 100-yard dash with 8 guys starting at the finish line and 8 guys finishing at the same time. And there is a group of people in this country that's exactly what they want. They want everything to be equal, and it's not equal. You're only going to understand things to the level of your understanding. So if you have somebody who is crazy cool, smart over here, and somebody who's just country dumb like me, there's 2 different levels of understanding of different things. My level of street experience might be better than this guy's learned education at Harvard. And at the end of the day, we're both attributes to this country because of what we bring, because we're coming from 2 different areas of education, 2 different speaking levels. All of this stuff comes together. Mix that with 350 million people and 10,000 religions. America's the single greatest country on the face of the earth. But what we're doing is we're allowing one group, it appears to me to be one group, to start running over the top of everything and scaring everybody to death. And then all of a sudden there's fear of all things. How do you solve that? For me, I go to faith. Because if I just go to anger, if I just go to frustration, if I just go, and it doesn't mean that I don't want to throttle somebody in the throat. It doesn't mean that I want to punch somebody in the face. But I step back and I go, but are they doing something that requires that? Or is it just a feeling I have? And I want to walk away from that every single time and go, I want to take a stand. I want to put my voice out there. I want to try to do it the right way. I want to love people through it right up until it defies God's law. There's got to be something that is the ultimate authority in this thing. God's law, man's law in the United States. And if man's law starts violating it, then you got to go back to God's law.
Well, I mean, this is where, I agree with you fully. And I think that's why it was most of God's law was enumerated in the founding documents.
Sure.
But here's something that I think is important. And I actually don't want you to answer because I think you know the answer based on what is on your arm.
Okay.
Okay. What year was it that we were actually freed as a country?
I'm not allowed to answer that.
What year? What year did we actually gain our independence? Not the Declaration of Independence, but what year did we actually gain our independence? I'm watching the comments. I want to hear what you guys have to say about that. What year? Don't Google it either, because if you Google it, we're out, which I can't really control whether or not you Google it. Do you know the year?
Mm-hmm.
Come on. Somebody put it up there. Nothing?
It's because people are trying to Google what year were we actually free.
Yeah. We're sure not going to find it under that. That's why it matters.
Even
Okay.
people at Yahoo say, hey, just Google it.
All right. It's very true. It was 1783.
Yeah. Tell them why. Tell them why before 1791 that was so important.
Well, it was important because it was the culmination of all the things that basically said, okay, we're going to do a separation. First of all, we had the treaty with France.
Mm-hmm.
At the same time, we were getting our independence from England.
Mm-hmm.
So you have a lot of things were happening. Everyone acts like it was just the UK that was over here,
right,
causing a bunch of problems.
No, there's a little bit more than that.
Yeah, there's a lot more. You had Spain, you had France, you had England at the time. That wasn't really considered the United Kingdom at the time. But then you fast forward from 1783 to 1791, and then 1806. And in this period of time, we were just trying to figure out where we were.
That's right.
As a country. And so that's why these documents became so important, because it was the right versus wrong.
Mm-hmm.
The judges were appointed to sit for mere days. Right. And attorneys, if you remember, were not allowed to run for office.
I did not know that.
Attorneys were banned from running for public office.
Okay.
And here we are now, where attorneys are running the entire show and are wordsmithing the ability to steal things from us. And our Constitution, which is very, very well written. I mean, for it to survive, let's say 230 or 243 years, because that's in essence what it is this year. We're in a place right now where if we don't go backwards in time and become constitutionally based, the country's finished.
Yeah, we're a test drive. People forget that. Well, America's a test drive. It was always a test drive. Can this work? We put a bunch of men in a room. We sat down. They hashed it out. They debated it, and they said, "Will this take off?" And here we are. Look at what we've accomplished. In the history of history, what country has accomplished more in that amount of time?
Susan said 1787. You're off by 4 years.
Yep.
But 1787 was significant as well.
That's also important.
Okay, why was 1787?
So 1787 was the lead to 1791. So when you look at the Bill of Rights, the arguments that were happening for those 4 years, this is where for me the freedom of religion became so important, because the lead up to it, there was so much argument going back and forth within the halls of churches and what was happening in America, that when they sat down and they did the Bill of Rights, the number one thing that they said that we have to agree on, the number one thing is we've got to be able to worship our God, whatever that God may be.
Right.
Hugely important.
So there's a book that's written by David McCullough called 1776. Have you read that book?
No.
It's amazing.
No.
But that's when, so I was 40 years old by the time I figured out that we actually didn't get our independence in 1776.
Yeah. Was it in that book?
It was in the book.
Yeah.
Right. But I read a book before that, but this book gave you a culmination of 1783, 1787, 1789.
It's a 20-year span, essentially.
Yeah.
Ish.
Yeah.
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 That was think about that. That's a third of my life that this country was.
It was a mess.
It was
a hotbed.
It was a mess.
That's why they call it the Wild Wild West.
And what came from it, and what came out of it, and where we went and where we headed. People forget we had a big war after that. Big war. More people lost in that war than all of the wars combined here in America for freedom.
The Civil War.
Civil War.
Yeah.
That happened post. That happened almost, a little over half a century, not quite 3/4 of a century later. You look at it and you go, yeah, look what we became.
Well,
so 20 years of hotbed, still a whole lot of ruffled feathers trying to figure stuff out. And then things got really bad, really, really quick.
Yeah. It's pretty crazy.
And where are we at now?
Same thing.
But the difference is today is you got real time everything. That's the difference.
Well, I mean, this is where I get a little sideways. We had real time back then. He just ran in on a horse. It was giddy up, giddy up, giddy up. I mean, it was Paul Revere.
It was still spreading of information. You're correct.
Information spread. You could argue it spread faster because they knew the conduits that had to exist.
It spread. Okay, I see where you're going. So I will concede a point to you on that it spread faster because there was far less information and it was all delivered in one deal.
Right.
So from that standpoint, everybody's getting it all at once. As to where here you got to rifle through 40 billion pieces of information. You don't even know what's important anymore.
Well, this gets into the drafting of the Magna Carta in 1612 when it was used in 1645 during the wars over in the UK, and how that spread across the world of being a fair environment for people to operate within, that put the law above even a king or anyone else.
But didn't it all kick off like in the 1200s though?
Yeah, it did.
Yeah, I mean Magna Carta was kind of that.
I'm sorry, 12th century, 1645. It was used as a beating stick.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's used as a beating stick to basically say that they should enjoy the rights, God's law, above the supremacy of God's law above the king's laws.
Yeah.
I don't know. Okay, fascinating conversation.
It's very good.
We're out of time. Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Pandora, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, and more. Go over there, give us a 5-star review, give us a thumbs up. And I could talk about history all day long.
It's fun, isn't it?
It is.
We get it.
It is.
Yeah, different podcast every time. But yeah, it is. Thank you for having me again.
Yes, great to have you. Yeah, definitely. And I'm going to be out at the NRA place in
Whittington.
Yeah, Whittington.
Yeah.
In
New Mexico.
Raton.
That's where we'll be tomorrow.
We'll be there tomorrow, but we'll be going live from there. So we'll have Patrick on here with us. We're going to be out there kind of messing around a little bit, maybe shooting some guns.
I'm bringing something.
I got to have a little bit of fun.
Yeah.
But let's go ahead and pray it out. There's a lot of stuff that's going on right now. I brought up the Q stuff because it hit me last week. Michelle sent me a text message saying, hey, check this out, what's happening in the White House. I believe something really magnificent is happening over the next 30, 45 days. Just keep your finger on the pulse. Something's going to give. Something's going to happen to hold people accountable for the things that they've done to our country and to the people in it. So let's pray it out.
All
right. Father God, thank you for the opportunity to be here with Micah today. Thank you for just for us being born at a time such as this, where things are they're moving so quickly and it's tumultuous, but we do recognize that the ultimate goal is to restore you to our community, to our country, to the world. So Father, give us the tools that we can carry forward, that we can fight against the evil that we face, and give us the ability, Father, to protect and to serve our communities in such a way that we can give opportunities and afford opportunities to future generations. Father, we ask you to watch over our leadership, President Trump and his cabinet, our leaders that have been either selected or elected, depending on how we see it. But Father, I just ask you to give them the wisdom to be able to lead our country into a time of great prosperity. And I don't just mean prosperity from a financial standpoint, but just the peace that comes with a community that's driven by goodness. Help us, Father, that we may forgive our brothers and may work hard to pursue destroying this evil within our communities. I ask these things humbly in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Destroy evil. Susan Rice, it's good to see you, the good Susan Rice. And we'll see you guys soon. See you tomorrow. Hopefully we get a chance to shoot a couple of guns while we're out there. It'll be kind of fun. All right. God bless you.
Rise up untamed. In the heart of the fight where the wild ones roam, Joe Oltmann's calling, bringing truth back home. From conservative daily to this untamed fire, we shatter the silence, lifting spirits higher. No chains can hold us, no lies can prevail. Authentic and fearless on this rugged trail. Patriots gather under stars and stripes. Untamed nation, igniting the night. Untamed nation, let the truth roll out in this land of the free. Standing proud from sea to shining sea, we won't back down. Catch the fire, wear the crown. Untamed nation, it's our battle song, motivating hearts where the brave belong. Yeah, untamed and wild, forever strong. Play it again all night long. No more games, time to heal. Joe's voice leads the untamed crew. Truth matters through and through. Untamed nation, let the truth roll out in this land of the free. Standing proud from sea to shining sea, we won't back down. Catch the fire, wear the crown. Untamed nation, it's our battle song, motivating hearts where the brave